Hello, Socorro ISD tuba players. My name is Mr. Diaz, and I am the band director at Jane Hambrick's school. I will be discussing tuba stuff with you. I apologize ahead of time. I am not a video editor by any means. There will be some awkward pauses where I try to flip the video and show you some stuff, and while I go back and forth in the classroom to show you a few things. Today's video, I want to start off by just showing you a few things with the tuba that will keep you safe, keep your tuba safe, and most of all, keep your band director happy so you don't break anything. So let me go ahead and pause this and go to my tuba to show you. Okay, first off, we have a tuba here that's in the case. This is one of like the small cheapy tubas, but I'm using it as an example so you can see where it's broken here. There's some spots here that have come off, that have come unsoldered, and as a result, this button got stuck a couple of years ago. Now, why does that happen, tuba players? It happens because you grab the tuba in the wrong weird spot when you're taking it out of the case. So be very careful not to grab weak points of your tuba when you're taking it out of your case. Especially right here. See how this pipe's dented right here? You don't want that to happen. I would just grab the biggest part if you can, or the part that seems the sturdiest right here. Just be very careful when you take that out. Now I'm going to go over here to one of our bigger tubas. When you do put it against, let me rephrase that. When you do put it on the floor, I recommend that you put it to where this round part right here is against something. Well, why is that? Because if you accidentally hit it, it won't fall. I always have a chair next to that. Sometimes these bells get bent, and as a result, the tuba will fall automatically. As you can tell with this tuba right here, I have a wire around it because someone grabbed it from here and this popped off. Please do not grab this part right here as well. Okay, I'm going to get started with the first warm-up now. Just give me a second as I pause this. Okay, this is Tuba Review Week 1. This sheet right here I created on Finelli for you and your directors. Hopefully your directors provided this for you. I'm going to go over each line with you. First 6 notes, intervals up, intervals down, and thirds. There will be many variations of how I will do these warm-ups with you. Sometimes I'll do a measure and I just want you to play that measure after I play it. Sometimes I'll add a rest in between, but I'll try to make it specific for you so you understand what we're doing. This is a very basic beginning band warm-up, I know, but I'm going to go over a concept on how to sound good in the tuba just to make sure we have a focused sound to make our band sound better. Now, before you play, make sure you do not grab this when you're putting the instrument up. A lot of young tuba players like to grab this part and pull it up, and that is not cool. Don't do that, please. Grab the whole big part right here and turn the tuba up. As well, I am seated with the tuba focused right in the middle right here so I can put my mouthpiece right to my mouth. If you need to adjust to the back of your chair, I know some of our directors tell us to move up. We're different. We have to move back sometimes. We're taller. Some of us are shorter and need to bring it on our chair. Just be careful. If you do put it on your chair, you don't bend any of the spit valves. There we are, ready to play. Okay, I'm going to play the first 6 notes on that Tuba Review Week 1 page. Feel free to play along with me. I'm going to play it straight through. Now let's talk about a few things here before we go on. This particular line, you will notice that I cracked the 6th note G. There are many reasons why I cracked the 6th note G. First reason, that note's just cracks a lot. We go from open to 1 and 2. You gotta make sure you get those fingers down. Here, I moved too much. Third reason, I wasn't warmed up at all. That's the first time I've played today. All right, so we're gonna try something to help those notes that are cracked and help our sound. We're gonna play the first 6 notes again. Focus on your breath. Are you breathing like this? That's wrong. Don't do that, okay? Make sure your shoulders are relaxed and breathe from the bottom up. Now, how many breaths should you take in this line? As many as you need to. I try to get through 2 notes, 3 notes at a time, just depending on how fast I go. So we're gonna do it where I play a note, then I rest for a measure. Then I play the next note, then I rest for a measure. I'm focusing on each breath right now, and I'm focusing on each start and stop to the note to make sure I don't crack and to make sure my fingers are moving quick enough before we start. So here's number 1 again, but I'm going to put a rest in between. 1, 2, 3. Rest, 2, second note. Rest, 2, third note. Fourth note. Rest, 2, fifth note. I didn't crack that time. Go back down. 1, 2, 3. That one I did crack, and we'll talk about that right now. So if you guys noticed, I cracked 2 notes. It was the E flat coming down and the C coming down. The E flat coming down was because I didn't take a proper breath. I had no support and the note just kind of blatted out. The C is just a tricky note. I didn't blow enough air. I didn't push the fingers down fast enough. Okay, I'm going to pause the video right away and get my metronome ready. And we're going to do number 1, the first 6 notes together one more time. Alrighty, I have the metronome at quarter note equals 80. I'm going to do number 1, the first 6 notes. Feel free to use this part of the video to go back to as you wish to play along with me. We're focusing on how we sit, where the instrument is on our lap. Don't grab this part right here. Put your hand here. Put one of the other hand where you're comfortable. Take a good breath for every note. Take a really good breath whenever you have to breathe. And if the note cracks, it's probably because you're doing too much here. You're not moving this fast enough. Or you just have a little issue that we need to focus on later and we can discuss in other lines. Here's number 1. 1, 2. Here's number 1 again with a rest in between. You can do 2 things when we play this together and you go back here. You can play with me and rest with me, or have me play and you play during the rest, so we call and response against each other, copy each other. Here it is. 1, 2. Alrighty, I'm going to go on for the last few minutes of this video. I will be going over intervals up, intervals down, and thirds. You can break each line like we did the first line. You can play a measure and stop, play a measure and stop, play a measure and stop, just to get all the little kinks out. You don't want to have a note like this. You don't want that to happen. You want it as clean as possible. You can tell I try to move as little as possible when I change notes, and that's the whole point of this intervals exercise. I actually give this intervals exercise to my beginners, and then with my second, third year students, I emphasize a lot of try to do as little as possible with your face, and make sure that when you get up to the higher notes, they're not higher notes, they're just higher sounding notes that feel really relaxed on your face right here. So here's intervals up. I'm gonna put the metronome at the same speed. And go ahead and play along with me and rewind to this spot as you wish. 1, 2, 1, 2. Don't forget to empty your spit out. Here is intervals down. You start from the higher F, note number 5 of your beginning band notes, and you're gonna go down. Intervals down. 1, 2, 1, 2. Now, one thing to keep in mind while you're doing these basic exercises is before we can even go to any fast moving stuff, before we can even go to anything else that you are probably at a level at right now, you need to remember that more air is the most important thing that you should do for tuba. I know your band directors will ask you to not breathe as much when you're playing music with the band, but when you're doing these warm-ups, it's important that you don't sound like this. Try to don't puff your cheeks, open up your teeth a little bit, and have an old nice warm sound. Now some of you will need to get adjusted to that, and you will need to breathe a little bit more than you would normally do in your band class. So take a breath when you need to, when you have to. Don't wait until a note sounds bad. It's important that you breathe when you have to versus later on after a note sounds bad, because then you're going to train your mind and your body to just breathe whenever, and it's okay to play bad notes. It's not okay to play bad notes, okay? So here is thirds now. We have some skips, we have some steps. We're kind of going up and down the stairs if you do a little staircase, and it's important to avoid cracked notes by moving our fingers quickly, having a lot of air, and making sure we don't move a lot here and don't puff our cheeks. Here's thirds. 8 clicks and we start. 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. So there we have it. We have just the first 6 notes from beginning band, but even though we're a second, third year, fourth year player, whatever you are at your school, that it's important that you get each note correct, because as we expand how low and how high we play, when we go into slurs later on, when we get into eighth notes, you don't want the mistakes that I showed you today to become a problem. And those mistakes can include grabbing your instrument wrong, putting it in a weird position when you're slouching, playing it on the side, or breathing incorrectly. The tuba is supposed to sound pretty good. It's not supposed to sound gargly. It's not okay to miss notes because our instrument's different. If you guys keep your mentality like that and focus on sounding good every time you play a note, you will make yourself better and your band that much better as well. Again, I'm Mr. Diaz, the band director at Jane Hambrick. If you have any questions about tuba, anything tuba related, go ahead and have your band director reach out to me, and I'll be happy to answer any question that you may have. Thank you guys. Have a good day.